I just finished reading Dragon Wing by Margaret, Weis, and Tracy Hickmanan. Now, if you watched this channel before, you might have seen that about a month ago, I did a book review on the Dragonlance Chronicles, also by these two people, and I didn't really like it. In the middle of my decision on whether I should stop reading those books, so in the comments of that video, I saw some people talking about this book, and I decided to give it a try, and I'm glad I did. I really liked the Dragon Wing. The story follows Hugh the Assassin and the peculiar assignment he is given by a king to kill his own son. But this unordinary assignment gets even stranger when it reveals that the prince is very much not who he originally seems to be. I like this book. There was none of the poorly performed Tolkienisms. There wasn't any cringe references to any game mechanics. It's all an original world, and while it's still like generic fantasy elves, dwarfs, and everything, it still had pretty unique world building. Everything is on islands in the sky, and you have to fly between them either by dragons or dragon ships. And there's also a big thing on water because it was rare. The book does a really good job of planning the world building and actually used footnotes to explain some out-of-the-way terms that were only referenced in passing in the normal story. I thought the footnotes were interesting. I haven't really seen anybody use them in fantasy, but it was a good fit. Another cool thing I found is in the back, they wrote up all the magic, like kind of what you find in the back of the Brandon Sanderson books. I didn't even know they did that back in the 80s. I mean, Tolkien did have his appendices, but I haven't seen any other one do it, so I was surprised. Also in the back is a song, which is also kind of cool. This island, which are inhabited by the Gegs, and also a little way the authors wrote it was really whimsical, which in some ways put me in mind of a fairy tale. But this story is by no means a fairy tale. There are some more mature themes in it. Nothing bad, but not something I would hand to a 6-year-old right after they finished reading The Hobbit. That and the rather out-of-the-blue death at the very end of the book, which I didn't really think was necessary, but those are the only two problems. I'm not going to give it a ranking, but I do highly recommend the book if anyone is interested in a dragon story or a retro fantasy. It isn't like one of my favoriteest books, but I enjoyed reading it, and unfortunately the library doesn't have the other books in the series, but I'm going to go out of the way and take the extra steps to interlibrary loan them so I can read them. Now, I wouldn't have had the chance to read this book if I had not given Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickmanan another chance. That is what I would like to talk to you about for the second part of this video. These aren't the first authors that I had left a book thinking I didn't enjoy, and then pick up one of their other books to find that I was wrong. Tastes change, and authors improve on their writing skills. It's a very good habit to be willing to give people a second chance, and it isn't just in books. Now, I'm not saying you have to keep reading each one of an author's series if you really don't like it, but eventually you might want to give them just a second chance. I know eventually I'm going to pick up the Dragonlance books again, especially after a lot of people say it gets better in the later books. Not right away, though. I'll give them some time, and who knows, I might just make another video about it.